So real quick, we do have an audience with us, and they look amazing, and we are up here with the panel. So we want to introduce the panel to you guys really quickly. So we will start with Erin, who is the founder of Favorite Froze, which is a faith-based brand that was created to provide spiritual encouragement for women and girls. She is also one half of the mastermind behind this event tonight. Hey, Erin.
Hey, girl.
And we also have Miss Kimberly Spruill, who is a lawyer, teacher, mentor, motivational speaker, and published author of Grace for Purpose. Hey, Kim.
Hello, ladies.
All right, and last but certainly not least, the other half of the mastermind of this event, we have Hope, founder of Hope in Her, which is an organization that focuses on the healing of women of color who have survived traumatic events. Hey, Hope.
Hello, hello, hello.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Good deal. So basically, tonight our conversation is centered around what's in the title, purpose, more specifically God driven purpose, you know. So Erin, this is your brain baby. Where did the idea come from, and why did you think it was important?
So I hosted a vision board party last year, and so I was like, I gotta have another one this year. But I was like, what kind of, I like to do themes, and so the first thing that came to mind was purpose in pajamas. I thought it was a cute idea, and last year I really was adamant about walking in my purpose and God's purpose for my life, and so I wanted to definitely, have that discussion at the vision board party. I always like to have a little topic of discussion for the vision board party, so we kind of leave out with something different. Not everybody thinks that way when they're creating their vision boards or just heading into the new year. You're just kind of walking blindly with it. So just to talk about listening for our purpose from God, because there's a difference between just doing what you want to do and what you desire, and then what God has for you. So I just wanted to discuss that and, make it plain.
Right.
Yeah. How did you connect with Hope with this event?
I was thinking the same thing. I know. We actually met online. Through Facebook and like one of our business groups.
Okay. For this group? For this
that's how
event?
For this event or just period?
Yeah, for this event and period. How did y'all meet?
I have no idea. She just
we just literally popped up like, hey girl, and we just became friends on Facebook, and Hope asked me to, that's what it was.
Well, no, before
I became a contributor for your blog.
Yeah, but you were already following me on Facebook, and I was freaked out by that.
But you sent me the friend request. Either way, we met on Facebook. We met on Facebook, and I saw that she was asking for contributors for her blog. So I applied. She welcomed me. I wrote a post, and she invited me to, after my first post, she invited me to speak at an event. And so after that, she was like, we should collaborate with something.
How did that conversation happen? I don't know.
Girl, I don't know.
Well, see, y'all sound like us. You don't know.
Yeah, we just here.
Right.
It literally was. So she was like, we should collaborate with something, because she was in Baton Rouge for her event. We should do something in New Orleans. I was like, well, I was thinking about, doing this vision board party. And she was like, okay. And then that's why we just kind of connected and just collaborated with ideas, and here it is.
And I Hope and Her hosts Girl Talks. We have two types of Girl Talks. We have a Girl Talk 101, which is college based. I try to play with like the college, class, school, whatever. And then we have the regular Girl Talks where for girls, or not girls, but young adult women outside of college who, they can't make it to college campuses or things like that. So we host them at like local libraries and things like that. And so I felt like this would be a perfect Girl Talk type of event. And so I was like, hey, can we do both? Mm-hmm. And that's how we birthed Girl Talk Purpose in Pajamas.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the word right there. It is always good to collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we think, I'm going to do this on my own.
Yes.
But it's so good to get together because, two is definitely better than one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know what can come out of it. So, Hope, I have a question for you. Because you have a mental health background, every time the year is about to start over, we always revisit like, I have to eat right again. I have to go to the gym. And lately, vision boards have been one of those big like phenomenons, like vision board parties are popping up everywhere. Why do you think like people are just so interested in doing that over and over again?
Well, I believe January is the year for renewing. So it's the new year. People feel like they can start over. Obviously, they're starting over with the new year. So that's the perfect time if you may have fallen off later in the previous year. It's a good time to just take a breather and start over again. Whatever you're trying to do, whether it's lose weight, whether it's to eat healthier, save money, I don't know, make new friends, things like that. So New Year is always the perfect time to start your new beginnings, even if you've started that over and over and over again. So I think just January is one of those times where, there's a renewal of your spirit, because you've gone through the year, you've celebrated the holidays, you've had your new year, and now it's like, okay, I'm fresh, I'm renewed, I'm rejuvenated, let's get it started. And so I think that's why vision boards are so popular, especially in January.
Yeah, and we did an episode last week where we were talking about New Year, same God. So you really don't have to wait until January to refresh your spirits. Because I feel like myself personally, I just need it probably about March. I'm gonna need a renewal because life, living is hard. Sometimes. So I think vision boards are excellent, especially. You can see them all the time. I have two. I started doing them 2 years ago, and so every day I wake up and I'm looking at my vision boards and I'm reminding myself of the things I said about myself or whatever I'm trying to speak into my life. So I think those things are perfect. But going more into purpose itself. So Kim, you wrote a book.
Yes.
Grace by Purpose.
Grace for Purpose.
Grace for Purpose. Yes. Excuse me. So what do you think? What is purpose?
Purpose is the reason why something is created. In this case, it's the reason why we are created. None of us are here by happenstance or mistake. It's not a coincidence that you were born, despite the situation and how you got here. And so God has purpose for all of us. And it's not necessarily what we want to do, it's what He wants us to do. And when we can realize that and recognize it, then I believe this thing that we call life, this journey that we're on, this daily journey, becomes a lot easier because it's not our will but God's will.
Yeah.
So that's purpose.
Yeah.
How did you discover your purpose? When did the light go off and say, this is my purpose, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
It came at a time where I had gotten myself, I say, into some trouble. Very traumatic incident happened to me, and a lot of times, we do our thing the way we want to do it for so long, and then we just get fed up and we say, you know what, Lord, I'm just really going to submit to your will for my life. And it was at that point I was at my lowest of lows, and I needed a lot from God. I needed healing, I needed deliverance, and I just needed Him to fill me up again. And it's during those times where, or for me, there was a time where I said, okay, I got to change my mindset about things. I need to change the way I do things. And I just really wanted to just get in His face and stay there and be in His presence. And that's what I wanted. And it was in that quiet time, just me and Him. No one to talk to. It was just me and Him. And that's when, at that time, and going through that process, He revealed to me that my purpose, His purpose for my life, is to help others discover His purpose for their lives. Not your own purpose, His purpose.
Why do you feel like we run from our purpose, in your opinion?
That's a good question. I think because...
And this can, all you guys can answer.
When you realize that you're not here for yourself. Your life is not your own, and you understand that there's going to change.
Yeah.
That's why we run, because we don't want to change. A lot of times we like the sin we're in. We like what we're doing. It feels good, and that type of thing, and we don't want to give it up. But you know that in order to operate in purpose, you cannot live a reckless life. You cannot live any way you want to live and think that you're going to fulfill purpose. So we don't want to change. And I think that's why we run, and we're not ready. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. But then what happens when time runs out? You live an unfulfilled life. And that's not why God put us here on the earth.
Can I chime in for a second? So, if you guys are familiar with Hope and Hair, when I launched Hope and Hair, I did a three-part blog, and it talked about running from my purpose. And I feel like in my situation, I ran out of fear. out of fear because I never seen an example of what I was supposed to do, and out of fear of knowing if I was good enough to do it, and out of fear of knowing, like, well, how am I get there? How will I get there? You know, because I didn't have the example. I came from a long line of very strong women, but also women who made very bad decisions, whether it was in relation to myself or just themselves. So I didn't know how to start. And so even people outside of my family, just people I met, whether it was through my job or on the street or just random people, they would tell me, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I would be like, no, that's not me, you know. Even one of my older managers told me, you know, he told me, he said, well, you know, you're going to be in ministry one day and you're going to really talk to people and help people heal. And I'm like, psh, I'm 22 years old. I still drink. What do you mean? I don't know how to preach to people. Are you crazy? I'm mean, you know, so people not going to like me. And so he was like, Hope, calm down. I didn't mean you're going to be a preacher or anything. I didn't tell you that's the way it's going to look, but just know that you're going to use whatever pain you've gone through to help minister to other people. And so I didn't understand that at that time, but I got confirmation after confirmation, even when I wasn't looking for it. Just random people, ministers. I didn't even know were ministers would come to me. I'm not gonna say, but just random people, and they would tell me the same thing. I'm like, well, who are you? And they say, oh, well, I'm the head of the ministry at Our Lady of the Lake. And I'm like, what? You know, so even though I tried to run away from it, I was constantly reminded, you know. So we run out of fear. We run out of not knowing how to start, you know, in my opinion. So.
Yeah. And I think, like, purpose is kind of one of those twofold conversations because you do have those that are running and those that are trying to find it. And so both of those are like, ugh, how do you get there, you know? And I think with trying to find it, the issue is we have so much clutter around us that we can't even see clearly, which usually for the most part right in front of our faces. Yeah. And that's why you kind of nod.
I was like,
is that your story?
My situation was a little different because I desired to know what my purpose was. I desired to do something and be something great, but you know, in the name of God. But I didn't know how, and I was put through so many situations in my life in the last, I'll say 5 years. So many situations where it was like I was constantly being beat up, and I'm like, I don't think I'm worthy enough to speak to anybody. I had the desire, and there was constantly people in my life who were telling me the opposite. Well, you can't do that because of this, or you can't, you know, constantly being negative instead of lifting me up. So it took for me, when we talk about clarity, it was 1 year, I think it was 2015, I did my first Daniel fast, and it was for clarity, and I found it. And you know, God was just talking to me and just saying, like, these situations that I put you through in your life, they're all for a purpose. Yeah. You know, and speak your truth. You know, there are people who need to hear your stories. There are people who that you can listen to, and vice versa. There's things that you need to write down right now or speak up about. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I don't do the speaking thing. You know, I'm very introverted and quiet, but I've done the opposite in the past 2 years. You know, and just been very adamant about speaking up about topics that I've dealt with, or writing about them, or trying to have events. Like I can never imagine myself doing this right here, you know. And I've realized these situations that I've been in are for a purpose. You know, they made me stronger, and if they come around again, I know how to handle them. You know. Yeah. And I had mentioned this on a live the other day. A friend of mine she was talking about Adam and Eve, and she mentioned how Eve's first sin was necessary for Christ dying on the cross. And so I was thinking about that, how even if we're not here on this earth when this glorious day happens, we went through this for a purpose, you know. And so I think about these detrimental things that happened to me in my life. Yeah, it hurt. I'm still healing, but it's for somebody else's healing as well. You know, our testimonies are always for someone else. So that's what I got out of it. I was trying to find what it is I can do. You know, I was just like, Lord, use me. I mean, I'm on my knees every day, just finding clarity, just calling out, like, I want to be a vessel, but how? And that was revealed to me. So, yeah.
Can I add to that? I'm sorry, but it kind of piggybacks off of what they both said. I know you talked about some people run from their purpose and some people run to their purpose, and I believe that even in my situation when I was running from my purpose, I was still seeking purpose. It just didn't look like what I wanted to look like. And like Kim said,
Right.
maybe I wasn't ready for that change. So I'm still, just like you, I'm seeking
Right.
for my purpose. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? But I'm being told this is what you need to be doing, but I'm running from that.
Right.
And I'm trying to do what I think I should be doing. Prime example. This is also on my blog. I initially went to college for nursing. And I'm thinking, this is what I should be doing. This is where I need to be. And I made it to my senior year, one more semester, and I flunked out. And I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And before, even growing up, and I told you about this, Kendall, when I was like in 3rd grade, we had those projects where they say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I didn't even know how to spell the name, but I said I wanted to be a psychologist. And I still have that little construction paper with psychologist misspelled and everything. And so, you know, I flunked out of nursing school, and even during nursing school, I said, you know, I want to be a mental health nurse. I want to be a pediatric mental health nurse. I was creating all these categories to fit what I wanted to do, knowing that that's not where God wanted me. So it took me to experience the trauma. It took me to have that failure to leave nursing school, because I wouldn't have left, even though it wasn't something I was really passionate about. It took for it to be snatched from me in order to go back to where I know I needed to be. And then, lo and behold, it's just been glorious ever since. I mean, it hadn't been like, no, it's been good.
And that's one thing I was gonna say. That's one thing about God. Like, His purpose is established, you know, like I said, before we're even formed in the womb. And so, like you said, you have this desire and you go through it, like you almost graduated. But He's gonna be like, nah, this is where I wanted you. You know, regardless of how far you may go or how happy you think you are, He's gonna put you in a situation so where you gotta make another turn. You know, and regardless of what happens in your life or people, what they say, whatever it is, it's gonna be established. But at the end of the day, you know, as far as, you know, you saying no, I don't want to do this, or going the opposite direction each time, you're still going to end up where you're supposed to be. And the road that you're going to end up in is not going to be the easiest because you decided not to listen.
Right.
But you're going to end up where you're going to end up where you need to be in the end.
I think purpose is one of those things that, obviously, like you guys said, we all have it. We all have a purpose. It's just really kind of tapping in to that purpose. And I think for us sitting up here, a lot of it is kind of based in like helping people. But that's not everybody's story, right? No. So you can be a lawyer, you know, and still have a purpose in God for what He wants you to do. It's just really about how you show up to your job every day. What's the message that you're giving? Because I think the overall purpose, and we've talked about this before, for followers of God is for us to be messengers of His word so that we can expand the kingdom. So no matter what you're doing, you know, we all have a purpose and a duty to do that, you know, in that environment. So, yeah.
All this talk of purpose reminds me of Jeremiah. God called Jeremiah at a very young age to be a witness and tell other people about God and spread the knowledge of God, and he did just that. He was very young, and that made me think about you, Hope, when you were speaking. But he did do that, and just to piggyback off what Kendall just said, God does have purpose for all of us. He's equipped us, each of us, with everything we need to carry out His purpose, and He's with us every step of the way. I think that's like a great word. Like, we should all remember that when we're feeling weary or just not understanding where He has us at that particular point in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we're doing a Bible study right now called Discerning the Voice of God by Priscilla Shire, and her first lesson is that in that Bible study is that obedience is the first step to that. Mm-hmm. And a big part of obedience is giving an immediate yes to God. And so in your book, Kim, I made note that you said that you made a conscious effort to seek and pursue God like never before. Yeah. And that reminds me of that immediate yes, like whatever you say, okay, I'm going to do it. Right. So can you break down like some of the things, like practical things you did, you know, to do that?
Absolutely. The first thing that I did was I felt like I was alone, right? So there was a lot of quiet time, but there were just some things that I used to do that I just wasn't willing to do anymore. No more going to the cigar bar, right? No more drinking. No more doing anything to the best of my ability that didn't please God. I just wasn't willing to do it. I wasn't willing to watch. I gave up watching TV 3 months. And so it was a lot of worship, lots of prayer. I listened to encouraging words, messages. Like my pastor would come on Periscope, 9 o'clock in the morning. I would listen to that. Those type of things where I'm being built up and God is being, he's edified, you know. And what's some of the other things I did? So mostly that I stayed in church, you know, making sure that my spirit man is fed. My pastor says all the time that the man that you feed the most is the one that's going to grow.
Yeah.
And so there was, you know, plenty of time, but not like religious. I was going because I needed something. It wasn't because I needed the praise team to pump me up. No, I have my relationship and I know how to get in to the presence of God. So really just changing my mind, changing my desire. God, what is it that you want me to do? What is your will? That's what I want for me. So changing my mind and surrender of my will for his. And that's difficult, but when you are desperate, you do what you have to do to see something different. You know, so you have to do something you've never done to get something that you've never had, and that's where I was.
Yeah. I think that just makes things so much clearer when you see God and focus on God. And because some people that can sound like so extreme. Oh, you stop watching TV, you stop doing this stuff. But I know for me, like, so Marvin Sapp, his album Thirsty, I listened to it for like 7 months straight, okay? Like that's all I listened to. And I was like a Lil Wayne, like, fanatic, okay? Like, y'all was not playing with me and Lil Wayne. But I just realized that, you know, first of all, girl, you got to cleanse your spirit because you're not even a thug in real life. So you should probably stop, right? But I'm telling you, when you change your appetite, just the things that grow in your spirit are so different. And we were talking about, Brandon and I were talking about this on the way up here. Like sometimes you can be in your purpose but stunt your growth because you have all this foolishness around you. And so we were just talking about like how starting off in Brandy's career, like, you know, 5, 6 years later, she's such a different person in such a different place. And a lot of that has to do with how you've grown as a person. Yeah.
What advice would you give to a babe in this purpose walk? Like, what would you tell them to do so they won't be so overwhelmed? Because this is a lot of stuff we're talking about doing, like surrendering and being obedient. And, you know, someone that is new to, maybe this is their first time at a vision board party or really taking purpose serious. What advice would all 3 of you guys, what would you give them?
So if I was speaking, well, I'm speaking to you all. I would really say sit down and visualize what you want for your life. What do you want to see yourself doing this year? Sit down and don't take it lightly. Really sit down and think about the desires that you once had, and maybe you lost that desire because maybe life happened. So sit down, get clear on what you want to do for the year, and be in prayer about it. Prayer doesn't have to, you don't have to be on your knees and, you know, but just conversation with God. You're just talking. The same way that I'm talking to you is the same way that you can talk to God. Because like I said, your life is not your own. So ask him, okay, God, is this what you want me to do? And if you listen, and sometimes
it's something, whether it's a blog, a podcast, you know, applying for a new position at a job, whatever it is, that we have to just go for it. You know, because if he told me to do it, it's done. It's already done. You know, and so that was my main thing this year. I had so many ideas and things that I wanted to do, and I'm like, I'm going to be intentional about doing them, but also pace myself. Because it's so easy to be like, okay, I want to do X, Y, and Z, and I got to do it right now. You know, and with God's purpose, his timing is not our timing. We're not on his clock. And we have to realize that sometimes he can give you something, he can give you a vision, a dream, a piece of something, but it doesn't mean that it's going to manifest right now. And so that's one thing I had to realize. Is like, I'll take something and I'll run with it. Like, and I'm like, that's for next year, you know. So we have to just being intentional and just pacing ourselves and believing that, you know, God's gonna take you where he needs you to be in his own timing. You know, and not everything's gonna work out exactly then. Well, he showed me this job in my dream, so I got it right, you know, and it might be years, you know. And one thing for me, I remember I worked in a corporate role since as soon as I got out of high school, and I recently left my job in October, and so it was never my desire to be self-employed or be an entrepreneur, nothing like that. I was the type of person I wanted to climb the corporate ladder and, you know, have those high positions, and it never worked out. I remember applying for the same job and interviewing for the same job 4 times. And I was the most qualified because I had been there the longest, and I always got that no. And so it just happened, certain things happened in my path that ended me up where I am now. And it's funny, somebody just told me this person that I work with right next to got the job last week. So it's like, you know, things happen for a reason. And our purpose is it's not, it can be something that we could never even fathom.
That's right.
Because I never thought, like in a million years, I'd be the carpool mom, stay at home mom, you know, just, you know, with my own schedule, blogging and stuff like I never thought I'd be doing that. I thought I'd be working at this 9 to 5 for who knows how long, being miserable. You know, so yeah, I'm done. But
You will definitely pop some stuff in your spirit that you're like, like what you mean?
right.
But like our Bible study is saying, first of all, be obedient and don't delay your obedience, because it's still disobedience, even if it's delayed. And so, you know, like you said, his timing is everything.
Yeah.
If he gave it to you and told you to start, because you never know where it's going to take you. So at this time, we want to open it up to the lovely ladies who are here with us. Does anyone have any questions for anybody on the panel or anything to add?
Surrounded with me, and it's like I can't hide no more.
No.
So I do appreciate you guys. I'm gonna connect with y'all and see what God has inside me, and I'm gonna
Together or whatever, it doesn't have to be business. And it gets to a point where, and because God has a purpose for each and every one of us, you know, you go your separate ways. You might be excelling in your area of work, and this person is not. Y'all could both be making t-shirts or both be authors or whatever it is, but one person is doing better than the other in their eyes. And you know, I've dealt with those situations in the past, and it hurt, you know, because it's like, well, this is my best friend, or this is my so-and-so, you know, and you have to realize that where God is taking you, you're going on that path by yourself, you know. And I always say, you know, you can't save everybody as far as saving their soul. Just period. You can't take everybody where God has you going. You know, that path is going to be a lonely path. But at the same time, he's going to replace those people with people that are going to be along that path. It's just like I was thinking about the metaphor. Say you're on taking a bus, you know, and you have stops on the bus. You're going to have that person that was at the bus stop with you, you know, and they took that bus ride until the next stop. They get off the stop. That was all that you needed from them right there.
Come on.
You know, then you have another person who gets on the bus, and y'all taking 2 or 3 buses together, transferring everything, and they get to their destination. You know what I'm saying? And you end up at your destination by yourself. And that's just how it is with life. And that's what I've learned. You know, he's gonna put people in your life for a purpose, and then take them away, and then replace them with something else. You know. And so one thing, I'm almost done. Look.
Question and answer.
Look, I'm introverted.
Right. She be lying. She ain't telling you the truth. She lying.
Yeah, but when it comes to this topic, like, I just, like, yeah, it's just nothing but like, something I want y'all to something I had to do for myself, and it was hard, is say the prayer, and I had to say it, to remove anybody in my life who is not for me and who is not of you. And that was one of the hardest prayers to pray. And the day that I said this prayer, I still remember this day. 2 hours later, I got a long text message from someone very close to me, just like tearing me up and down. And at that point, I was at a high point in my life, you know. And I mean, you need to do this, you need to do that, and you think you're all this. And I'm like, wait a minute, where is this coming from? Nowhere. And from then on, this person and that person, or you know, we distant for whatever reason. This person just stopped talking to me, and I'm like, what is this? And I'm emotional, and I'm like, these people, you know, I had a place for them in my heart, you know. And then I realized I said this prayer, you know, and what do they say? You got to prepare for what you pray for, you know. And I wasn't ready. And just after that, he started to slowly place people in my life that were like spirits, like-minded, who lifted me up. You know, we became, you know, partners. You know, we became, what's the word?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
Yeah, there we go. Accountability partners. Yeah. Yeah, like we just flowed, you know, and it's like we went through a lot of the same situations, and just related and had that same passion and desire for God's word and that relationship with him. And it's like, where did you come from? You know, that's nothing but God. He takes people out of your life for a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, so that's it. I'm done.
And I think too, to add on to Hope, what she was saying about, well, kind of what everybody was saying about people who won't support your vision and, you know, how to see that. I think the best way that you know to cut people off is by knowing God's word. Because once you know his word, you can recognize him in people very quickly. And so if you have a great vision and you share it with somebody and they hit you with something, if you know God's word, their negativity cannot affect you because God already said it. And so I think that's the big thing is making sure you spend time in his word.
Yeah.
Making sure you spend quiet time with him. Because all the confirmation you need is going to come from him. So although Brandy is one of my very best friends, she can like it or she can hate it. It doesn't matter. I appreciate her loving it, but she doesn't have to. Because like Aaron said, this is a me and God thing, you know?
Right.
Does anybody else have another question? Oh, you have some? Okay.
To piggyback off of what Aaron said, for where God is taking you, you're going to feel alone. Everyone can't go. Prime example. I had 2 young ladies who were supposed to come with me tonight, right? One was sick, bronchitis. The other had a family issue. And I was getting prepared. I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. And then she hit me with that hot track, that text. I was like, wait, you can't make it, so I got to go by myself? And I got sad for a second, but then God was like, wait a minute. I'll never leave you nor forsake you. I'm always with you. So where you're going, you're not by yourself. And when you get there, I'm going to allow you to connect with somebody. It don't have to be a whole lot of people, but I'm going to allow you to connect with one person. And you're going to know that I am with you. So I cried. I ain't going to lie. I was on the phone with my friend, and I just got overwhelmed, and I started crying. I was like, this is so ridiculous. And so I pulled myself together, laughed it off. And, you know, but even in those moments, just being honest with yourself, Lord, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where you're taking me, but I know that you're going to take me where I need to be, and you're going to allow me to connect with the people that I need to be connected with. So pray for divine connections. Pray for discernment, that you can discern everyone in your circle, that you are aware who is around you.
Not everybody's for you.
Because everybody's not for you. Yeah. So, and then like you said, be prepared for what he reveals to you when you pray that prayer. Because a lot of times it's the ones that are closest to you. I know that too.
And you be like, I could have never thought. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
We got
true.
All right, we got a question or comment?
But we just have to definitely remember.
Gives us a vision. I think me and Aaron spoke about this before, that when God gives us a vision, he may not make other people understand it. And so there are a lot of times where I said something to somebody or I told people about an idea and they were like, I don't know, like you're not going to get that done. And lo and behold, I birthed this idea. So you really have to be careful with who you share your ideas with, because you can kill something before you even birth it. And so you have to learn how to discern people's spirits and understand who you can actually share your ideas with, because everybody don't want to see you win. Because they haven't found their purpose. They are not going to be encouraging to help you find yours. So you have to learn that even they could be family members, they could be friends, you know, because some people get stuck. Some people get stuck doing something they don't like, doing something they have to do just to get by, you know? And so when they see you stepping out and they see you finding your purpose and actually stepping in that, and what God called you to do, then there can be something where, well, you know, I don't see how you're going to get that done. That's because they've never seen it done before. And so when they see you doing it, they're like, oh, wow, you know? So just understand that God doesn't give his vision to everybody, you know? So I just...
Okay, so I have God as the center of my board, even though his name is really small. But that's due to the magazines. So, but I did like circle and put number 1. And God is love, of course, right? So I have love under that, because I think that as I trust in him, he is love. So he brings love, you know, to my life. I'm a mother. I'm happy. And I feel like I'm finally free, because I decide if I'm free, right? It's my choice. Nothing else can choose that for me, right? There's outside factors that determine things for you in life, but ultimately you're the ultimate factor that determines what you want in life, right? Basically. So I set it up in like 4 different columns. So here is like just what I want, like me, who I am basically. And this is more of like physical, like exercise and physical health and things like that. This is family, which is very important to me, and this is business, right? So here I have words such as trust, be yourself. I have genuine, epic, graceful, heartfelt, brilliant, legendary, powerful, outward, dynamic, power, black woman, right? Down here I have things such as health and happy, tennis. I love to play tennis. Like, that's my sport. Exercise. I need to exercise and lose weight. Oh my gosh. It's just like it's a constant struggle. Like you lose weight and then you gain it back. So I really need to start like a lifestyle change, right? Instead of just the fad diets that, you know, we do and then you lose weight quick. Swimming is something that I want me and my children to do, to learn how to swim. Because we don't know how to swim and we go out of the country a lot. And it's just not good to not know how to swim. It's really not good. And I put makeup down here because I want to learn how to like contour and all that new stuff that people doing. I really do. Okay, so let's get over here to family. My family is very important to me. Oh my gosh. They're my backbone. They're my support system. Without them, I would not be the person that I am, right? So I put family. I put exotic dishes because on Sundays we either go out to eat or we'll cook. And I'm usually the person that cooks. My mom doesn't cook. So I'll cook at my house and they'll come over and everybody eats. So I want to learn like new dishes to make and stuff like that. And it says you can never have enough of a good thing. And that's my family. They're just wonderful. So down here I have smart business tips for black entrepreneurs. And I have a woman with her son. I'm a single mother. And it's just me and my sons. And she's an entrepreneur. And that's my goal, is to be an entrepreneur. Because I work for other people. I've started a business. And I'm in the process of like building it. But it's been like a while for it to like grow or whatever, but it's my goal and that's what I want to do in life, so I feel like it's going to happen for me, right? And that's it.
Thank you.
Oh, yay!
Sounds like we can just stand in this chair. My whole board is about self-care. I moved here from Texas, the Houston area, and I moved here for work. I work in the wellness industry, and that's been my passion forever, but I haven't really always been living what I teach.
Yeah.
And I'm getting back to myself, so that's kind of my theme for this year, self-care. I don't even have a TV in my place. It's all focusing on me. And so I didn't put anything about work or a business that I'm trying to start because I really want to focus on taking care of myself because I had to take care of so much last year. So basically everything I have on here, the first thing I want to point out as far as self-care goes, I had to, my theme word for the year, just like you mentioned, I think you said your word was
Intention.
intention. So mine is alignment. I'd ask God, anything that isn't in alignment with where you want me to be, or that isn't in alignment with my spirit, it gotta go. And I left my full-time 9-to-5 job and to come here to do something I'm very passionate about, and everything so far has been excellent, and I just kind of feel like I'm in my place. And so that's why this is at the top. Like anything that is not aligned with my spirit or where God's trying to take me, I can't deal with it. I've ignored text messages. I have asked people like, don't text me that. They be like, you're rude. You're usually not this rude. I was like, I'm not being rude, sweetie. I'm being honest with you. We can't have these conversations anymore because that's not in my spirit. So self-care, because I'm worth it. This is my reminder. It's okay to have a break. You know? We're women, so we're caretakers. But it's okay for us to have a 5-minute meditation. Don't feel guilty about that. The gratitude meter, I was like, this has to be on high for me, like every day. I gotta be continually giving thanks to God. Perfect sleeper. I did not get as much sleep as I needed last year. I am sleeping. Sleep's at the top of my list. Naps and everything. Adult naps. This is just a reminder reminder for me to dance in the rain. I mean, as much as we try, you know, to do so many great things in life, adversity is gonna come along on our paths, even when we're working in our purpose. So this just reminds me to dance in the rain along the way. Enjoy the journey, rise above, and continue to be a good force in the world. Pure love. I just want to be genuine and just give love in all its facets. It's not always about romantic love, but what love am I showing to my sister today? Yeah. Somebody asked me for money on the street, and I'm usually like, well, I don't have none. And I remember I was like, you know what? I found $5 on the ground the other day, stuck it in my car for emergencies. I said, ma'am, this is for emergencies, but if you're having an emergency today, she needed money for the bus, here you go. And she was like, thank you. Just showing love to strangers. What else? I want to be more kinder and gentler to myself. That's why I put this on here. This says queen for a day, but I scratched this out. And I just want to treat myself as a queen every day. Yes. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. What else? Let's eat. Be a genius hostess. I want to take more time this year to be a hostess and invite people over, cook for them. I just want to take more time out just to, like I said, just to share the love. What else? I want to dance more. I want to sing more. I have like this little sunroom in my apartment, and I set up half of it has like a keyboard and some black art because these are things that I used to enjoy doing, but work kind of took over. And I was like, I'm turning this into like my little art music room. Forget about that. And this last thing, because I don't want to take up too much time. I know we're wrapping up, but continuing to be more organized in my home and having all the good fresh foods that I like to eat. But I just wanted to point this out. I tore this out of the magazine and it ripped. And of course I wanted it to be perfectly placed on my board. And I was like, oh my gosh, I tore that, I can't use it. And I was like, yes I can. This is just a reminder for me not to be, don't be type A personality all the time. It's okay, we're on our journey of life, we have our little bumps, bruises, and scars, but that doesn't deter us from our purpose. Most of the time, it's helping to propel us. Yes. So it's okay, and this is just a reminder that Donica, everything ain't got to be perfect. If you're on your journey to where you're supposed to be, then it's right either way. So, but thanks for
to decide what is it that I'm supposed to be doing and what is it that I like to do, and keeping away age, and then I had this up here. It says grow hair. Because I always wanted long hair. I always wanted long hair. My daughter said, Mama, we can buy you some hair. I said, no, I want my own hair. So I had that. I have Queen Latifah's picture here because no matter what movie or when I see her, she always has this freeness about her. Every time I see her, it's and she's beautiful. So I kind of like Queen Latifah. She just looked light, if you can understand that, like nothing is bothering her every time I see her. Health and happiness. I'm going to try to do more of God's words and laugh more. I remember when I was working, everybody would say, boy, she mean. And I'm like, you don't even know me. How you say I'm mean? So I would chop them off like that. So I say, okay, I'm going to laugh more so people won't think I'm mean. I'm really not mean. You just got to know me. And then this right here, it represents peace. I can sit on the corner of my porch and watch these birds play in the dirt, and I'm telling you that brings me so much joy and peace. I'm telling you, it's silly things. So everybody say I'm silly for that. This is exercise because I am starting to exercise, and these are my buddies, Jocasta, Jacinta, and Jalea, which are my 3 girls. So they're my buddies, and I'm in health, and then my marriage. I married my first boyfriend from the age of 14. We had 3 kids. We never lived together. And we got married after we had the kids. Wow. So I'll tell you what, I am not a fan of living together or shacking up, but I understand. So I know marriage is a lot of work, and Time Magazine says the science of marriage. The science of marriage is what works for you.
Yep, I agree.
And this is my board.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yes, I guess 4 months. We did a vision board party for my friend's birthday in September. So I wanted to kind of focus this one on more about my spiritual life and where I'm going with my transformation. By the way, my name is Trinetta.
And I'm from Orlando, Florida. My friend Lexi Williams invited me here, and she lives in Louisiana. Okay, so one of the biggest things is finding your voice. I've always been very outspoken, very vocal. I got married, was married for 10 years, and lost my voice. Got divorced and kind of got my voice back. So it's kind of a reminder to myself to like always keep your voice. My word for the year is love. I have a hard problem giving affection. Like someone can like kiss me or hug me and I'd be like, hey. I don't necessarily reciprocate it as much, and one of my friends pointed that out, and she pointed out that I could be going through something, and she's like one of my best friends, and she said, I never knew because you just keep it all inside. So my biggest thing is to like let people know what's going on, so it's not like, oh, you getting a divorce, girl? Hi, I know. So because no one knew because I like kept it all inside, and so I'm trying to work on being more affectionate. So that's my word for the year, love. I remember, and now I will never have to forget to like keep living Trinetta, so that's to remind me, the awakening of me. I love my kids. I have raised strong kids and family, and I feel like as long as I surround them with a village of good people, that's okay. The forgiveness frees us. I actually just listened to Maya Angelou and Oprah Winfrey's podcast on Super Soul Sunday, and she talked about how once you forgive, you can go back to loving. And a lot of times we don't realize we have to forgive ourselves for things we did. And one of my biggest ones is I have to forgive myself for my marriage not lasting, and I was actually holding on to that. So I gotta forgive myself. I didn't work, and it's okay. So forgiving yourself frees yourself. So I have to remind myself. 2018 is different, and I'm going to achieve more. I'm going to stay in a place of calm. I currently do meditation yoga, and it like transformed my life. Okay, so I bought this pass for hot yoga, which I hate. I was like, I hate hot yoga. This is stupid. But I bought a pass, and so it was like, dang it, now I spent $90, and now I gotta do this. I quit actually halfway through. And so then I called them up. I said, hey, do I have any more passes? They were like, yeah, but they expired in June. I was like, oh. She was like, well, renew them, but you gotta use them by the end of the month. So I didn't want to go to hot yoga anymore, and I end up in meditation yoga, which is like awesome. It's like an hour and 10 minutes of like meditation. You do like 5-minute poses. A lot of them are on the ground. So that has actually been my yin to your super fast life. So I go every Tuesday. Love it now. Now I'm gonna buy a new pass. Just remind myself to feel good. I'm in the art of transformation, and that's okay. Show up, and when you show up, be great. I tell my children that all the time. Mommy can't be great unless you help me, so you gotta help me. And I'm just trying to make them self-sufficient. So I can't be great unless they're helping me be great. My wish for you is that you feel no need to constrict yourself to make other people happy. I'm a people pleaser, and that was my biggest problem in my marriage. So I have to remind myself, it doesn't matter if someone's uncomfortable as long as I'm happy. And like you said, sometimes you kind of have to be, I have cut people off. I actually have told people, you have been blocked. Do not text me anymore. I will not accept your phone calls or your text messages. So I kind of stop having to make people be happy if it's not, the energy is not good for me. And then the next one is success is accomplished when you know your purpose and accomplish things that you're put on this earth to do. So like as y'all were talking about purpose, I just put that on myself to remind me like, let your inner glow shine and glow. So that's my vision work.